Macca's guides.
Now we start off with Chapter 11. And in Chapter 11, I think there are 220 floofs, 8 readables, 1 health filament upgrade. It's kind of one of those medium-length chapters, maybe a little bit longer than average, but not anything crazy either. We'll be going through. It's pretty much what we've come to expect now. A lot of platforming, a couple of cutscenes. There will be a decent amount of arenas in this one as well. But we'll be getting through this, hopefully, pretty easily and without much resistance. We are closing out on some of the floofs. We're getting pretty close, although there are quite a bit of readables at the end of the game. But as we walk forward, you'll notice this new creature, and we can just continue along our strand. As soon as you see this break in the road, instead of following the log, follow the path to the right-hand side across this gap, and at the end of this path, you should notice, I believe it's a floof, unless I surprise myself around this corner. Up the path, up the platforms, and then that brings you to a floof worth 10. You can then rejoin the main path by following your strand as a little bit of a shortcut. That'll bring you back to a jump where you can get across. There are some exploding mushrooms that we are going to jump over. And as soon as you jump over those, look to your left, and here you'll notice your first readable. Let's grab it. It's one of the readables from the wall. That's going to be 1 out of 8. And then from that readable, continue along the path just right next to it, following along the water. Push through the branches and then drop down. Here you'll find a crouton tunnel. Go inside of that crouton tunnel. I'm not sure if this is the exact one I'm thinking of, but there are a couple in this chapter that are a little bit harder than others. So we're going to be navigating across the kind of Venus flytraps. And here at the end, we'll find our rock pile worth 5. That one wasn't one of the harder ones I was thinking of for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and rejoin the path and start just making our way across the platforms just for a few seconds here. And I'll rejoin you. I think there's a fight just around this corner potentially. But I'll rejoin you when something kind of more important happens on screen. You should be able to just grapple your way across here, I think. All right, so there is no combat arena. We reach straight into the next section with this windmill. And as soon as we get across, you'll see this kind of winding log. Stick to the right of the winding log to end up on like a deck. And that deck should lead you straight to a floof down by the beach. So we're going to grab that. And then we're actually going to go up that winding log. And that should lead us to a jump across a gap. That'll let us kind of gain entrance into what I believe is a boathouse. Watch out for some of these exploding mushrooms. They can be a little bit awkward to navigate around. So right here, I believe this is one of those like Louisiana steamboats. And you can just get into the side here. And once you enter, there is a combat arena. So you'll get through it. Work on any of the achievements you might still not have. There is a nest in here if you're still missing larva haint kills. That's something you can work on. But just get through it. Feel free to use your cleansing rend if you need that. Your amplified rend if you need that. You should have pretty much all of your attacks kind of unlocked by now to hopefully work towards those if you don't already have them. Okay, so we can cleanse the Stigma. I thought there was going to be a whole nother wave of enemies, but I guess I'm misremembering. Combat arenas aren't something I spend too much of my mental capacity trying to memorize here. So once we clear that Stigma, go ahead and follow your objective to the side of the boat here. You'll end up kind of on the edge. You'll see honey here, and as you round this corner, you should notice some floofs kind of directly in front of you. These ones are kind of hard to miss. They're through the branches in the corner of the room. So push the branches to grab it before you make your way to the next room. There are some exploding mushrooms here around the corner that feel a little bit unfair. But once you make your way upstairs, you should be able to get into this kind of Stigma area. And in the corner of the room, you can find a pushable wooden plank. And once you do that, you can spawn crouton to get through. Once crouton gets through, you can unravel the stigma. There's a pretty obvious floof where he is. So I don't know why the game does this so much, but in the opposite direction of our main objective, let's go ahead and backtrack into the boat to find 2 things we need. So after crouton grabs that stigma, go into that room where the stigma was. The first thing I want you to grab is the readable. The readable is on the desk as you enter to your right. It's number 2 of 8. It's the thing you're probably going to miss out of the 2 things in this room. So grab the readable, and then you want to grab the floof. Just make sure you grab both of them before you turn around. So let's just follow our objective again here. And after we do that, we can just continue forward. As you enter this kind of restaurant here in front of us, I'm stuck on a weird ledge. Go to the left and just inspect all the little tables. One of the tables has the next readable for us, number 3 of 8. So we're going to grab that before we leave. And then there's other things we can interact with, but they don't give us any progress towards our 100%. As you leave, the game will guide you to the left, but you're going to want to go to the right-hand side. Follow the edge of the ship to the end to push the planks. Here you'll find more floofs. We can then go up to the very top of the ship here, following the path, and there is a combat area here. So let's take care of some baddies, and there are a lot of collectibles right after this. After unraveling the stigma, you can walk forward to one of these kind of memory sequences. Not a memory sequence, I guess. You know, a vision of the past, I guess, would be probably a better way to word that. After this vision of the past, we regain control of our character. The path is cleared in front of us, but there is something behind us in the opposite direction. As I mentioned earlier, I don't know why the game has decided this through like the game design, but there's pretty much always collectibles behind us after a fight, which I think is kind of a little weird, maybe. I mean, it makes the game a little bit more enjoyable in terms of, like, searching for these collectibles, but it's a little bit strange to put them kind of out of the way in such a not obvious way. So, once we regain control of the character, you'll see the ledge in front of us as the stigma clears. Do not go down that ledge. Instead, turn around, and directly behind you on the edge of the railing, you'll notice a staircase. Go down that staircase to reveal some floofs, and these floofs you want to grab, they are worth 10. Only then should you progress. And once you do progress, you can weave the wood in front of us, run across that wood to the next platform, and follow along for the next 30 seconds to a minute. As you know, and as you've come to expect, collectibles are fast and frequent in this game, but there is a small kind of, I wouldn't call this a boss. This is an action platforming section where this Alta Mahaha throws stuff at us, and we just kind of have to run along the path and dodge it, not get hit by it. You can obviously get hit by it. It won't like insta-fail you or anything. It just makes you take damage, which is not fun. So just take your time and make sure you're not standing on the little red markers on the ground as they hit. And if you keep running, you'll reach the end here. And we have escaped the Mudfall. Once you reach this platform in front of us, Honey will come and actually move it for us. So we actually don't want to cross this platform. Look to the right of this platform, and here you'll notice a floof in front of you. So go ahead and double jump, glide your way to the floof, pick it up, and you're going to want to continue past it in order to grab the next thing, which is after these Venus flytraps, up the ledge, keep following the path, and then here you can throw Crouton across the gap, teleport to Crouton. I don't know what happened there. For some reason, he despawned on me. Let's go ahead and give him another toss here. Hopefully this time he lands correctly. And once he does, you can give him a switch and then go into the little burrow. This might be the burrow where you can actually get pushed off the edge, so we're going to be a little bit careful here. We're going to drop down into the hole, watching out for the pokey bits. Drop down into the hole again. Run across the Venus flytrap into the left, and here you'll find more floofs for Crouton. Only once you grab the floofs with Crouton and the floofs that were kind of partway through this platforming section should you proceed to the next area, which I believe is a combat section, but let me double check. The platform should now be held by Honey, and that means we can get across this kind of seesaw platform, which leads us directly into more combat. Let's go ahead and use this combat, which opens up a quite large area around us.
Let's clean this up.
So after that little arena, clearing the Stigma does result in one of these memory sections, so you'll just walk forward and grab that memory section. Now, as soon as you gain control of your character kind of back in the normal world, you may notice a collectible kind of directly in front of you, and I'm just going to briefly ask you to ignore it. We'll grab that on our way out so that it doesn't distract us from all the other collectibles. And after we grab that, I'll do like a quick recap to see how many strands we have before we exit the area. So we'll all be on the same boat if you do it in the same order as me. Hopefully that makes sense. It's not a big deal if you do it out of order, but it might just be a little bit easier to track, and you're probably a little less likely to make mistakes if you follow it exactly here. So kind of where we spawned, directly in front of us, you'll see the strand path. So instead of going forward, go 90 degrees to your right and then follow up the hill. And again, try to do it in the same order here. As you're coming up the hill, you'll notice the burrow on your left-hand side. Let's go ahead and cast Crouton to go into the burrow as our first kind of thing here. Follow along the path, watching out for the spiky bits like I just didn't, which means we're going to have to try again. There's a little bit of timing here, and this one can be a little bit annoying. I was trying to rush it, but if you come around the corner and don't get hit, you should be able to now get around and up here. There's a little floof rock pile at the end for 5. Just next to that, we can go ahead and grab the floof. So now we have 130 available to us, but if we were to pause the game, we're at 100 out of 220. Now from that, we're going to come down the hill, and we're going to keep to our left. Keeping the wall to our left and hooking around the corner, you'll come across a tin flip. So grab this tin flip, easy to miss. And then follow the log right next to the tin flip all the way to the end of the path here. At the end of this log path, you should find your health filament upgrade for this chapter. I think we might only have one more health filament upgrade in the game after this one, if I've counted them correctly. Yes. And then only once you have your health filament upgrade should you drop down and interact with the readable that is on the wall as you're about to exit. This is readable number 4 out of 8. So if you press down on the D-pad, you should have the first 4 for the level. And you should have 105 out of 220 floofs, which also means that if you press up on the D-pad, you should now have enough currency to get crouton with 10 floofs left over if you've been following along. You won't see the achievement for the crouton ability popping on screen because I am playing on kind of multiple accounts and pretty much already have it. Now, after that, you can drop down in front of you here. Let's quickly ignore the combat arena in front of us and instead look to the left. As you look to the left, you'll notice some wood planks and some trees that you can push aside to get to this platform. From this platform, you can weave some steps that'll let you navigate to a hidden path. Follow that hidden path until you reach the top of this kind of tree. At the top of the tree, you should notice some more floofs. Quite a trek for 10 floofs, but we can now rejoin our path. Once you rejoin it, you can just walk forward into the next arena battle, and as soon as you do, you just want to defeat all the enemies, and then I'll rejoin you with where the collectibles are right after. Alright, so that arena was not really my best work. I kind of got stuck there for a second trying to finish one of the enemies, but I kept trying to pick up health, but I was already at max health, so the game was just kind of, you know, not playing nice with me. But once you do unravel the Stigma, walk forward, get that memory. There might be a small little cutscene after the memory. I'm not exactly positive about that. But once we are out of this, there will be more collectibles for us to grab.
Hoping against hope for her baby's giggles to pierce the icy air. But that swamp, it just kept stretching on and on, till a peculiar lantern flickered into view, right beside his tiny mud-streaked blanket.
Oyatune lost her baby and Mahalia found honey. That's no coincidence. There's another pattern up there. Hope I'm right about this. Russ.
Okay, so once we regain control of our character, we spawn pretty much right next to a readable collectible that's along the path to exit the area. Let's grab all the collectibles behind us before we grab the readable on our way out. So going the opposite direction from the exit, you should notice a weavable branch here that we can jump to. This allows us to get to a little bit of a side path here. Watching out for the mushrooms on the other side of this jump. Jump across, and we'll start by going to the right side. Pretty close by, you should notice a floof just to the right. So we're going to grab that as our first one. And only once we do that should we kind of backtrack and then join up that path and then start going upwards using the ramps, using the grapple point. Grapple your way towards the top, and as we make our way up, we'll just keep being able to climb. There are some mushrooms and stuff along the way that do kind of are a little bit of an obstacle, but nothing too bad. Grapple to the next one, which gets you all the way to the top of the structure where you can find a floof next to a very well hidden mushroom. From there, you can rejoin our main objective path. Sorry if the capture card was a little bit choppy there for a minute or two. Hopefully it's fixed now. I'll keep an eye on it just in case. But as you approach the exit, we'll grab that 5th readable document to the left on a rock. It is a painting, so that's going to be 5 out of 8. And we are now ready to leave the area. So go ahead and follow our objective until we pretty much reach the boat. There'll be a bit of platforming. I think there's a little bit of watching out for the red stuff that this guy throws. So I guess it's called like a mudfall. There are actually a couple of tricky platforming sections, as I just proved by jumping directly into the water. So here we will be kind of platforming through the level. There is some pretty bad hit detection on some of the Venus flytraps, and it's very possible to get really unlucky as you jump across these gaps. You can land directly into mud and then be pushed off the map. Luckily, there seems to be no achievement, obviously, for beating the entire game without dying, or else that would be truly misery. But we'll make our way through. Watch out for the Venus flytrap hit detection a little bit. Try your best not to get knocked off, and then continue along the path here towards our objective. Here we want to work our way towards the boat. You can jump, and you can actually make it across before Honey helps you, but it's not like you're saving like 5 or 10 seconds. Maybe in a speed run it's worth it, but for our purposes, you don't save enough time for the risk. Now that we jump across, let's go ahead and pillage this boat for all of its loot. So we're going to go ahead and follow the marker. You'll notice a floof directly ahead of us, above us. We'll grab that in a second by following the objective marker. And inside of the boat here to our left, we'll find readable number 6 out of 8. So we're going to grab that before we move on to that floof. Following our objective marker, we'll end up going up this rock a little bit. Once you get to the top here, you're actually going to want to go to the left. It's just going to save you a little bit of time. There's a floof off here to the left at the very end of the walkway. This one is worth 10, so we're going to grab that. And now we're going to go to the kind of mirror side of where we are. So on the outside edge of the boat, run all the way around counterclockwise to the other floof. And then you can grab that one as well. And only once you have both of those should you want to enter into the boat here. As you enter the boat, you'll notice that there is a elevator that we're going to have to kind of deactivate. So to deactivate it, head outside and then cast crouton into the burrow. Once crouton makes it to the end of this burrow, watching out for some of the spiky bits. Once you make it to the end of the burrow, you should be able to interact with something to unravel the stigma. And then once you unravel the stigma, it should allow us to take that elevator I had mentioned. So the elevator door will open up. You can go inside, interact with the button to ride the elevator up. As soon as we reach the top of the elevator, lots of collectibles, some really tricky ones to grab. So let's go ahead and walk out and look directly to your right. These ones are obviously fairly easy. There is a document on the desk we'll want to grab. That's going to be number 7 out of 8. And then we'll also want to grab the floof, which is, I think that's a 10 piece. After grabbing that floof, let's go ahead and walk towards the curved log here. Do not go up, do not go down. Instead, staying on this floor, go to the left and hook around the corner. And here you'll find a pretty decently hidden floof. Ignore my counter for a second as I'm doing these a little bit out of order. But once you are ready, now you want to actually drop down one floor from this area. This is actually going to be between the elevator we started at and where it took us. And then you can go to the outer edge instead of going into the boat to find your next floof. We're going to grab that. And then after that 20-pointer, you're also going to want to go into the boat itself. And then you can double jump glide across to the left side, landing on this platform, landing outside on the opposite end, and you can collect that floof as well. And then only once you have those floofs should you navigate back towards the elevator, and you should be able to now climb the platforms back up. And now you can follow our objective marker up to the curved log. This, like many times before it, is another combat section. You probably have everything you need with amplified rends, cleansing rends, and the like. Just go ahead and enter the battlefield, and after you do that, you should have the 220 out of 220 for your floofs. We have our health filament upgrade, but we still do have a readable to grab.
Everything right.
As soon as you're done the combat, let's go ahead and interact with the Stigma to clear it. This should start a short little cutscene, and after this cutscene, I believe the bottle's filled. We'll get our final 5 floofs automatically after the combat, which I do believe brings us to the 220 out of 220 for this mission. And then we will have one of the kind of signature running platforming sections that we've come accustomed to. I think at this point the game becomes just a little bit formulaic in the way that you clear 4 kind of objectives, fill up the bottle, and then every single time you get this kind of runaway section. It was fun for a few times, but there is a little bit of repetition. That's just a quick opinion I decided to throw into that walkthrough. But you're free to leave a comment down below and kind of let me know if you agree or if you disagree. We'll quickly pause the game. We're at 220 out of 220, 1 out of 1 health filaments. There is still a readable or 2 left. We'll do a counter on those as soon as we have all of them. And of all the runaway sections, this is the only one where I probably died more than 1 time. I think my first time through this, I died twice. A lot of it being this really bad hit detection on these Venus flytraps. You kind of just end up like touching them from the side, even though you feel like you're going to get on top of them. And then you end up getting snapped by them. There's also some kind of awkward wall jumping here. It's not hard. It's just, I don't know if it reacts how you kind of expect it to react. But just grapple and make your way all the way to the end. And I'll rejoin you as we kind of finish off the chapter. Get our final readable. And then we're on our way to the next chapter 12. All right, so after reaching the bottling tree, we're going to go and clear the tangle. I do really hope this game is up for consideration at the Game Awards for Best Soundtrack, because I definitely think I definitely think it deserves it. This is one of the better songs in the game as well. So I'm going to let you actually just enjoy that while I run forward.
There it is. Just a bit longer, Ayatu.
Hixooonnn never gave up searching for her baby. And the search changed her. She didn't know this was a magical swamp, or that a giant flower had sheltered her baby and kept him safe. The crew in their last moments were stunned to see this monstrous creature smashing the boat in her aid, like an angel of vengeance. She went so deep into her grief she couldn't see the light in the darkness. Another peculiar lantern, searching for her, offering hope. Hixooonnn never did find her lost baby.
She never stopped looking. All this time, she never gave up.
Once the wound is cleared, there is one more collectible we want to grab. I think it's pretty close by. Not like immediately close by, but pretty close. Let's just stay along the path for now, though.
When she escaped. You're just trying to reach your mom, aren't you?
When the river takes, the river gives, and mama will search his Lord.
Hey, wait! It still might be dangerous. Stay put. She might not recognize you. Let me protect you.
Mama will be there in the morning. Mama will be there in the
Me next. Me and Mama next.
After that cutscene that brought a tear to my eye, we can find our final readable here just in front of us. We'll come through this narrow section. It'll open up. You'll see a tree coming from the left across the path to the right. And on the inside of that tree, you can interact with it to find 8 out of 8, a final message. If we open up our readables now, we are at 82 out of 103 with all 8 from Chapter 11. Pair that with the 220 floofs from the chapter, as well as the... we'll just go up here and interact with the lantern. But pair that also with the health filament upgrade and the fact that this cutscene right here ends the chapter. We're pretty much as good as done.
The lantern summon you.
You should be so lucky.
Who's that?
Oh, no.
For real, who is that?
Shaking Bones. He runs this here operation, ferrying desperate folks to places unknown.
Places unknown, huh? He could take me where Rue is holding my mama.
Riding with Shaking Bones to reach Hixooonn's realm? No way.
At least I found my way out of here.
I tried to warn you before. Hixooonn's domain ain't no joke. Folks at the end of their rope wind up stuck in a place they can't claw their way out of. Searching for salvation, finding only suffering.
I appreciate you, but I've come this far. I gotta see this through. Can this take me to my mama?
You might not come back.
Aw, you gonna miss me, ain't you?
I'm just upset I can't follow. You know how much I love seeing a good story play out.
Cause you're so damn nosy.
You be careful now, you hear?
I'll come back, I promise.
You better. I gotta know.
You know the drill. Drop a like on the video, share the video with a friend. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. I'll see you soon. Peace.